Welcome back. We get a nice break from the pollen today because it's been raining, and we've got a big storm front coming in just a minute here. But before that happens, I thought, why not wander around with a camera like an old school YouTuber and just point it at stuff in my garden. Now, some of you guys are taking part in our Grow 500 challenge over in my Survival Gardener group, but this area right here is our little addition to that. In part, I'm only counting the Grocery Road Gardens and this little entry area to the Grocery Road Gardens. We put in some broccoli and cabbages, and they got chewed up. And then we have some daikons in here, which are doing a little bit better. But in between where we had gaps, we put in some transplants the other day. These are eggplant. Since the cool season stuff got pretty chewed up, we had some brutal rain come through and just tear in after we had planted, direct seeded. We're learning that putting out transplants seems to work better for us, particularly when we get these crazy rain events. Over here, you can see our Grocery Road Gardens are growing the wonderful vegetables that they start with. You can see a lot of vegetables in here right now. I'll take you on a wander, but I want to show you something else first. A few weeks ago, I cleft grafted this right here, and I stuck the broad fork next to it so we wouldn't run it over because it's so short. This is a calorie pear, also known as Bradford pear, that was at the edge of our gardens. And this is Kiefer pear, if I remember correctly. Maybe moon glow, not sure. Didn't have it labeled right. But you can see this one maybe is healing up, but this one definitely healed up and has put on 4 inches of growth. That means that this graft actually took. There's beautiful cabbages here. We're starting to get some worm pressure. Been out here picking these little green guys off. The cabbage moths are relentless. But if we stay on top of it, we ought to be all right. Now look at this. Some of you guys have probably seen this in your garden before. What is that? Did the dog throw up out here? Did somebody spray foam insulation? No, that is slime mold. And it grows extremely quickly, covers the ground, and then it disappears. This is good. I like this. This is taking all this organic matter. It's not quite broken down, and it's breaking it down into more usable forms for our garden. So I like to see fungi out here. When I have stinkhorns come up, when I have mushrooms come up, when I have slime mold come up, cool. There's lots of biological activity. We've got multiple varieties of mulberries along here. They're our first fruits of the season. They did see some frost damage this year. You can see some of these are burned. Some of these are coming back properly. Cold hardy Musa basju banana does not make an edible fruit, but we're growing it for biomass. You can see I've already got some of my landrace cucumbers coming in right here. When I see weeds, I'll just pull them and throw them down to the cucumbers. But this will be our ground cover. It's our first major ground cover of the year. Usually it's cucumbers, then watermelons, and then that is followed by sweet potatoes as they take over later. Some of these areas are not really weeded yet, as you can tell. I knocked a space in the ground, put some cucumbers in, but we can just come out. This is kind of a nice thing to do. I like doing this, it's cathartic. You pull the weeds up and you use them as a mulch, because in order to plant the seeds, I hoed a lot of this area out and a lot of the mulch got displaced. So if you've got the weeds already here, throw them down as mulch. Just let them rot, unless they have seeds on them already, and then you probably want to throw them somewhere else. You can see how weedy it is over here, all those spring weeds. But again, here's some more. Right there. This cucumber's coming up. Let's throw them some nice weeds. Get some of these onions, wild onions. Got so many wild onions here, it's not like we're gonna ever have a deficiency of them. And then I just throw it down there. Mulberries all coming out right here. And I trained this rose. I got this rose for Rachel for Valentine's Day. It's not edible, but it's going to be super pretty on this trellis. I trained it up and over the top here. It's already growing up to the center, and you could see it's got buds all over it. This is just going to be gorgeous in here. It'll probably be overrun a little later in the season by Chinese yams, but that's okay. We'll get some blooms first. Doesn't look like there's much going on in here. You can see the various mulch, bits of charcoal, bones, as our kind of terra preta experiments go on here. I put our terra preta compost on there, so you see there's lots and lots of bones and mulch. This is all going to break down over time. Lots of biological activity. We've got little Chinese yams that have volunteered here and there. That's a very nice, vigorous, useful plant. And then I made these little mounds here and put cucumbers on some of them, and some of them are cantaloupes. Those are probably cantaloupes because they've taken longer to sprout than the cucumbers. And then we come to the end of the grocery rows. I'll start you from the other side so you can look a little further, but before we do that, this is one of our southern apple varieties that I lost the tag on. I've got to go back and recreate what's in this orchard. All of them have tags except for this one, but this one is blooming first. We'll see what it is. Maybe we'll actually get some apples this year, which would be super cool. The Simpson stopper over here did fine. I wasn't sure if we would be all right with that. It got a little bit burned. That is a native Florida shrub with edible fruit. It tastes kind of sweet, and then they have kind of a bitter grapefruit undertone. This is an Elaeagnus I planted here at the corner because it was pretty. Maybe that was a bad choice. This is our row of shell apples that we put up on these lines. And here's our salad greens coming in underneath. It's a little bit of an issue with weeds. You know, the problem when you're direct seeding is that you got to open the soil up, right? And so when you open the soil up, all the weeds can come out because they can pop through. And I had mulch over this whole area, but in order to seed it, I scraped the mulch aside so I could put in all these seedlings, and then they got pounded by the rain. So I just wanted to sprinkle the seeds over the whole area. There's some spinach, some little radishes. Basically, I just threw salad green and radishes all through here, kale and other stuff. So it's a bed of salad. That was the idea. Here's a really cool looking mulberry right here. You can see this one we've actually pruned back, grow a little fruit tree style as much as possible to kind of keep it small, but it still is very vigorous. It grew at the end of last year. After all of these fruits come out of here, this will get chopped down again really short somewhere in here, but we're gonna get a lot of fruit. This is an ivory white mulberry from Burnt Ridge Nursery. Burnt Ridge Nursery is one that I've used before. I really like them. They have a good selection. They've always sent me good trees. They don't pay me to say this. I just like them. I buy from them at full price, just like normal people do. I stuck some pepper transplants in here the other day. I tried to mulch around them, but I forgot some of these. We tried to mulch around everything before the rain comes back in, but we didn't succeed with that. There's also a lot of little cucumbers in here because my 3-year-old had a packet of seeds and she said, I will plant them. And I said, just plant wherever you want to. So she just walked around the garden sticking those seeds in the ground, and wherever they grow, we'll just work around them. Here's our lackluster little bed of carrots. We've got carrot, carrot, carrot. Hey, it's looking pretty good. Carrot, 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 carrot. Huge gap. And then there's a few carrots at the end. You can see carrot, 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 and then there's gaps. So in these gaps, I put in peppers. Again, I think this is just because we got pounding rain after we planted. Instead of a nice, gentle, soaking rain, we got torrential monsoon rain. I'm going to show you this. I thought this was a peach tree. I've said it was a peach tree in my videos. I started this from seed. It's extremely tall for this space. Needs to be cut back this summer. But it turns out it's not a peach tree. It's the same species, but it's actually a nectarine. I had no idea that I had nectarines out here, but when you start a bunch of stuff from seed, from things you get from the grocery store, well, you know, you have surprises. Looks just like a peach tree. Prunus persica. But those fruits are definitely not fuzzy, which means they are nectarines. Looking pretty good. This is a Prime Arc Freedom Blackberry. That's a nice variety. Seems to be doing well for us. I figured I'd get some and try it. This is its second year. I planted it last spring. It's looking pretty good. It looks like we're going to get some fruit. Got a little Rachel mulberry down here at the end. This is the variety I named after my wife that we propagated off trees that were in Fort Lauderdale that we grew up with. We have a chestnut on the end here that's just waking up. A chestnut in this space is probably a terrible idea, but we're going to try and grow a little fruit tree with a nut tree. Walk you down here. It's pomegranate right there. It's just waking up. Pomegranate is a pretty nice shrub. This is a seedling peach. This one has peaches on it. You can see they are actually fuzzy. That's how we know they're peaches. This tree I'm very happy with. It's only about 2 years old. We have some watermelons planted in here, but I guess the soil hasn't been warm enough. Right in there. There should be some. I've also found, this looks like pepper seedlings. There were peppers over here. Looks like they're self-seeding. I found some little tobacco seedlings. We found Everglades tomatoes out here. It's interesting to see what self-seeds when you pull the mulch back. If you don't pull the mulch back, you don't get that, but you also don't get the weeds. This is another seedling peach from the same time. And look at that. Peaches are so easy from seed. And they make good peaches very quick. Looks like we've got some watermelons or cantaloupes coming up here. And then over here we did some more rows. Those pumpkins are not supposed to be there. Gotta come out here and weed in the middle of these, but some beets in a row. Don't look super hot, but we will get beets. And then some radishes down here. And some more carrots. Carrots just take forever on germination, and if they get really washed out in the rows, that's not good. We'll get some carrots this year, it looks like. This is wild geranium, just shows up everywhere. That's mulch for other stuff. This is a Kiowa blackberry we tied up. It's very thorny, but very productive. Nice fruits. I like them very much. This area in here is all going to be underneath watermelons, cantaloupes, and cucumbers very shortly here. Looks a little bit like a wasteland right now of bare, sad, a little bit of mulch on it, but not much there, just soil. This grape should be waking up any day now. A lot of promise here. If you want to start your own grocery row gardens, you can check out my little book, Grocery Row Gardening. It's a lot of fun to mix up the trees and the perennials and the vegetables together. Anybody can do this. You don't have to do it on a large scale. You can put a couple of beds in. But particularly in our hot, humid, brutally sunny southern climate, Getting a little bit of shade on those vegetables with the trees mixed in makes a big difference in the summer and allows us to extend our season a little bit. Plus we get a wide mix of different interesting things to eat, from mulberries to sweet potatoes to cabbages to hopefully some pomegranates this year. And if these goji berries don't produce, they're out of here. Thanks for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this short respite from pollen season and this wandering around with a camera edition of David the Good's Weird Garden Adventures on the YouTube. Catch y'all next time. You can learn more about the Grow 500 Challenge in the link to our community, and check out the little booklet, Grocery Road Gardening. Catch you next time. Until then, may your thumbs always be green.